Hey everyone, welcome back. So, I need to tell you about this story because it honestly made me rethink everything I thought I knew about desperation. Picture this. You're running through freezing rain, your kid is shaking in your arms, and men with weapons are literally hunting you down. Not because you did something wrong, but because your child's brain is worth money. Like, his memories are a commodity. That's Aneira's story. And when I first heard it, I thought it was going to be another damsel saved by vampire thing. But it's not. It's about two people who needed each other for completely selfish reasons and accidentally built something that actually mattered. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and just tell you what happened. But fair warning, this one gets intense.
Chapter 1. The Night Road. The rain came down like punishment. Aneira Dalca had been running for 3 days and the Carpathian weather had decided to make the fourth unbearable. Her boots were destroyed, completely waterlogged, squelching with every step. Her cloak had stopped working somewhere around midnight, and Lyrian, her 5-year-old son, was shivering so violently his teeth were chattering like dice. "Mama," he whispered, his voice tiny and hoarse. "I'm cold." "I know, sweetheart. Just a little further."
And can we talk about how she's lying to him? She has no idea how much further. The road's gone. It's just mud and darkness and those torches behind them getting closer. But what else is she supposed to say? "Sorry, honey, we might die tonight?" "No, you lie. You keep them moving. That's what parents do."
She adjusted Lyrian's weight on her hip. He was getting too big to carry like this, but she couldn't put him down. The mud would eat his little boots whole. Behind them, maybe a mile back, maybe less, the torches were still there, still burning. The hunters from Brasov, the ones who'd killed her brother in the street, who'd come for Lyrian with blessed blades and self-righteous fury, all because of what the kid had inherited, what he'd memorized. "Mama, where are we going?" "Somewhere safe." "You said that yesterday." Smart kid, too smart for his own good, honestly. That was the whole problem.
So here's the thing about Lyrian, and this is wild. His grandfather was Petru Dalca, right? Royal cartographer. This man had mapped every vampire territory in Transylvania. Every safe house, every feeding ground, every border. Sold that info to whoever paid most. Vampires, hunters, didn't matter. And when Petru died, he made his 5-year-old grandson memorize all of it. Every map, every route, burned it into the kid's brain like he was a human hard drive. Which sounds cool in theory, but in practice, it made Lyrian the most valuable and most wanted child in Eastern Europe. Anyway, back to the rain.
The road curved left. Aneira followed blindly, her legs screaming. She'd been a seamstress before all this. Her body wasn't built for marathon running through mountains while carrying a child, but desperation changes what bodies can do. A sound cut through the rain, men's voices, rough, determined. The hunters had found their trail. Aneira's heart dropped. She looked around frantically, trees, mud, darkness, no shelter, nothing big enough to hide them both. Then she saw it. A gap between two massive oak trees, barely visible. A path? Maybe? She didn't have time to decide. Aneira plunged through the gap, branches whipping her face. Lyrian buried his head against her shoulder. He'd learned not to cry. 5 years old, and he already knew that silence meant survival.
That breaks my heart, by the way. A kindergartner who's learned to be quiet during a chase. Like, what kind of childhood is that? Anyway.
The path opened into a clearing, and there was a house. No, a manor. 3 stories of dark stone, windows shuttered, smoke coming from the chimneys. Someone was home. Aneira ran to the door and pounded with her free hand. "Please, I need help. My son is sick. He needs shelter. Please." No answer. The voices were getting closer. "Tracks lead this way." "Can't be far." She pounded harder. "Please, anyone. I'll work. I'll pay. Just please." The door opened. A man stood there, tall, lean, dark hair, too pale, too still. He looked at Aneira, at the shivering kid, at the terror in her eyes. "You're bleeding," he said, calm, like he was commenting on weather. Aneira glanced down. Yeah, cut on her arm from the branches. Hadn't even felt it. "I need shelter. Just tonight. Those men will kill my son if they find him, please." The man's eyes flicked past her toward the forest. He could hear them too. "Come inside," he said.
Now, if you're thinking Aurora, why would she just walk into a strange house at midnight? Valid question. But here's the thing. She's got hunters 30 seconds behind her. She's holding a 5-year-old human encyclopedia, and this guy, whoever he is, at least opened the door. Sometimes your options are definitely die or maybe die. You pick maybe.
Aneira stumbled through the doorway. The man bolted it behind her. The entrance hall was warm, dry, smelled like wood smoke and old books. Aneira stood there dripping, clutching Lyrian, trying to breathe. The man moved to a window, cracked the shutter, looked out. 6 of them, he said conversationally, crossbows, torches, searching the tree line. Aneira's legs gave out. She sank onto a bench, still holding Lyrian. "They'll come here. They'll search this house." "No, they won't." Something in his voice made her look up. That's when she saw his eyes properly, black, completely black. And his stillness wasn't calm. It was the stillness of something that didn't need to breathe. "You're in Sorin Drăculești's territory now," he said quietly. "Hunters from Brasov know better than to trespass here. They'll circle, realize where they are, and leave. Fast." Aneira's mouth went dry. "You're a vampire." "Yes." He tilted his head. "But you already guessed that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been quite so willing to throw yourself on my mercy."
See, this is what I mean about desperation. She knew. She knew he wasn't human, and she knocked anyway, because a vampire might help. Hunters definitely wouldn't. That's the calculation you make when you're out of options.
"Will you hurt my son?" she asked. "That depends. Why are they hunting him?" Aneira pulled Lyrian closer. The boy was staring at the vampire with wide, curious eyes. Not afraid, which was either very good or very bad. "He's a cartographer's heir." The vampire raised an eyebrow. "That doesn't usually warrant a manhunt." His grandfather was Aneira Dalca, the royal cartographer. Understanding flickered across the vampire's face. "Ah, the mapmaker who documented every vampire territory in Transylvania, who sold information to the highest bidder, sometimes us, sometimes hunters, depending on who paid more." "My father-in-law was a mercenary bastard," Aneira said flatly, "but he's dead now. And let me guess, he left the maps to his grandson." Aneira said nothing. That was confirmation enough. The vampire crouched down, eye level with Lyrian. "Hello, Lyrian, that's your name, right?" The boy nodded. "Do you know what your grandfather gave you?" Another nod. "Can you remember the maps?" Lyrian's voice was steady for a 5-year-old. "All of them. Grandfather made me memorize before he died. He said I had to keep them safe up here." Small finger tapping his forehead. The vampire's expression didn't change, but something in the air shifted. He stood, looked at Aneira. "Those maps are worth more than gold. Every vampire court in Europe would pay a fortune for that knowledge, and every hunter organization would kill to keep it out of our hands. I know. You can't run forever. I know that too. So why run? Why not sell the information yourself?" "Because I'm his mother," Aneira said quietly. "I won't sell my son's mind like it's a commodity. He's 5. He should be learning to read and climb trees, not serving as a walking database for vampires."
Okay, I'm going to be real with you. This hit me hard. Because she's right. This kid should be playing with toys and eating too much candy. Instead, he's got tactical military intelligence stuck in his head, and people literally want to murder him for it. That's so messed up.
The vampire studied her for a long moment. "You can stay here tonight, both of you. Food in the kitchen, spare rooms upstairs. You'll be safe until the hunters give up." Aneira exhaled. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet." His black eyes held hers. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have a conversation about what you're running from, what you're running toward, and what exactly you're willing to trade for permanent safety. I don't have anything to trade. You have something I need very badly, the vampire said. Tomorrow we discuss terms. He left her alone in the entrance hall. Aneira sat there dripping rainwater holding her son and thought, I just made a deal with a vampire. Or I'm about to. But Lyrian was warm, safe, alive. For now, that was enough.
So that's how it starts. A desperate mother, a kid with a brain full of secrets, and a vampire who sees an opportunity. And honestly, I love that neither of them is pretending this is about kindness. It's survival. It's strategy. It's two people who need something from each other. Let me tell you what happens next, because this is where it gets interesting.
Chapter 2. The King's Offer. Aneira woke to coffee smell and the sound of hammering as she bolted up. Lyrian. The kid was sitting at the end of the bed fully dressed, playing with a wooden horse that definitely wasn't there last night. Mama, the man gave me a toy, and he said there's food downstairs. Her heartbeat slowed down. Okay, they were fine. The room was small but nice. Real bed, clean sheets, her muddy clothes hung by the fireplace. Someone had left a simple dress on a chair, plain gray wool but well-made and roughly her size. She dressed fast and took Lyrian's hand. They found the vampire in what looked like a workshop. He was building something. A scale model of what might be a building support system. He'd changed into work clothes, dark pants, white shirt with rolled sleeves, leather apron. Morning, he said without looking up. Coffee's in the kitchen. Fresh bread, too.
Can we appreciate that this centuries-old vampire went out and got groceries? Like he was up at dawn, well, before dawn probably, buying bread for the random human woman and child he let crash at his place. I don't know, that's kind of sweet in a weird way.
Aneira found the food, made Lyrian a plate, watched him eat with that focused intensity of a kid who's been hungry too often recently. The hunters left before midnight, the vampire said, still working. They'll report to Brashov that you disappeared into the northern forests, won't search here again. Why not? Because this house is mine, and I have agreements with local hunter chapters. They don't enter my territory, I don't enter their sanctuaries. Benefits everyone. You have agreements with vampire hunters. I have agreements with everyone. That's how you keep a kingdom stable. He set down whatever he was assembling. I'm Sorin Drăculești. I control Cluj and about 80 miles in every direction. I keep order among vampires, mediate disputes, make sure we don't draw attention from human authorities. Pause. It's political, more than supernatural. Boring, mostly. And you want Lyrian's maps. I want what they represent. Those black eyes fixed on her. Your father-in-law was thorough. His maps don't just show territories, they show weaknesses, unguarded borders, feeding patterns, alliance structures. With that information, I could expand my influence or defend against rivals trying to do the same. So you want to use my son as a weapon? I want to employ him as an advisor. There's a difference. He's 5.
Thank you, that's what I said. But here's where Sorin actually makes sense. And I hate that I'm about to defend a vampire.
Now yes, Sorin said, but he won't always be. And meanwhile, he needs protection, education, resources. I can provide that. Better than you can. Not mean, just factual. No offense. Offense taken anyway. He almost smiled. Fair. Let me be direct, Aneira. You're running from hunters who will eventually catch you. You have no money, no allies, nowhere safe to raise your kid. Best case, you live hand to mouth for a few years before someone recognizes him. Worst case, you're both dead by spring. Her jaw tightened. Is this the offer part? Yes. I will give Lyrian a kingdom. Not now, he's too young. But when he comes of age, I'll cede him territory, lands, title, a court. He'll be a vampire lord if he chooses transformation, or a protected human ruler if he stays mortal. Either way, power, security, a future. In exchange for his maps, for his knowledge and loyalty, pause, and yours. There it was. What do you want from me? Sit beside me as co-regent, as the human face of my rule. Very precise, like he'd thought this through. Kluge's vampires listen to me because I'm older and stronger, but humans, they need someone they can relate to, someone who understands their problems, someone who isn't a monster. You want a puppet? I want a partner. I don't need decoration, Aneira. I need someone smart enough for human politics, ruthless enough for hard decisions, and invested enough to actually care. His eyes didn't waver. You kept your son alive for 3 days against professional hunters. You gambled your life on my mercy. That's not someone who gives up easily.
Okay, so, plot twist I wasn't expecting. He's not just buying the kid's knowledge, he's hiring her as like an actual government position, co-regent of a vampire territory. And honestly, that's kind of genius, because he's right. Humans aren't going to trust a vampire government. But a human woman who's clearly protecting her kid and making smart decisions, that works.
What if I say no? Then I give you supplies and money and you keep running. I won't stop you. Unreadable expression. But we both know how that ends. He was right. Damn him. Aneira looked at Lyrian, at his small hands holding that wooden horse. She'd imagined a different life for him. School, friends, sunlight, safety. None of that was possible anymore. Not in the human world. But maybe here? I want conditions. Sorin nodded. Naturally? Lyrian gets real education, languages, math, history, not just maps and strategy. Agreed. He's not forced into transformation. When he's old enough, he chooses. Agreed. And I get actual authority, not symbolic. If I'm helping you rule, I need real power to make decisions. Agreed, within reason. We'll negotiate specifics. He crossed his arms. Anything else? She took a breath. If you betray us, if you use Lyrian and throw him away, if you break these promises, I will find a way to destroy you. I don't care how powerful you are. I'll find your weakness and exploit it. Something that might have been respect flickered in his eyes. Noted. And reciprocally, if you betray me, sell information to my enemies, undermine my authority, endanger what I've built, I won't be merciful. Clear? Crystal. He offered his hand. Aneira looked at it, pale, unlined, the hand of something that stopped aging probably centuries ago. She took it, cool, firm, confident. Welcome to Cluj, Sorin said. Your Majesty.
Your Majesty. He just called her Your Majesty. This woman who was running through rain 3 days ago is now royalty. Vampire royalty, but still. And you know what? She earned it. She negotiated like a boss, got protections for her kid, got real authority for herself, made him promise everything in writing, basically. This is why I love this story. It's not romance, it's not rescue, it's two people making a business deal that happens to involve a throne. So over the next few months, here's what goes down. Lyrian starts drawing maps, like incredibly detailed maps. Sorin's mind is blown because this 5-year-old has better intelligence than most of his spies. And Aneira? She's sitting in on political meetings with vampire lords who've been alive for centuries, and she's holding her own, making alliances, solving disputes. There's this great scene where this snobby vampire lady, Lady Viorica, tries to test her, asks this super complicated question about border security, and Aneira just answers it perfectly. Because she's been studying those maps with Lyrian, and she knows the territory better than people who've lived there for decades. But here's where it gets tense.
3 months in, everything almost fell apart. Aneira was reviewing treaty documents when Sorin entered with a letter. His face was grim. We have a problem. Lord Radu knows about Lyrian. He wants a deal, military support, trade agreements, everything I need, in exchange for complete, unrestricted access to the maps. Aneira felt ice in her stomach. You said the information would be controlled. And it will be. I'm not accepting. Then why do you look like that? Because he's not the only one asking. 4 other territory holders sent similar messages this week. They all want the same thing, and they're making it clear that refusing would be unwise. They're threatening you. Indirectly? Yes? Lyrian had stopped drawing, listening. This was always going to happen, Aneira said. The moment people knew about Lyrian, we became targets. Yes? So what do we do?
And this is my favorite part, because Aneira doesn't panic. She doesn't cry or beg Sorin to fix it. She goes, "What do we do?" Like she's co-regent. This is her problem too. And then she comes up with this absolutely brilliant solution.
What if we don't give them the maps? Aneira said slowly. What if we give them something better? A council. A formal alliance. We provide intelligence, carefully selected, strategically released, but only to members who agree to terms. Peaceful dispute resolution, protection of humans, regulated feeding, everything that makes coexistence possible. Sorin was silent, processing. You're describing a governing body. I'm describing civilization. Right now, vampire territories fight over resources because there's no central authority. But if we create structure, a council with real power, backed by information they can't get elsewhere, we change that. It's ambitious. It's necessary.
So they do it. They actually do it. Aneira and Sorin create the first vampire-human council in Transylvanian history. And it works. Lord Radu shows up to the first meeting ready to argue, and by the end he's signed the charter, because even he can see it's smarter than constant warfare. And Lyrian? He grows up in this environment, learning diplomacy alongside cartography, using his grandfather's maps to prevent conflicts instead of causing them. On his 18th birthday,
Lyrian was formally granted his own territory on his 18th birthday. A holding in the foothills, manor house, lands, court. He chose to stay human, to rule as a mortal lord allied with vampires. It was unprecedented, strange. It worked. Aneira stood in the council hall watching trade negotiations, thinking about that rainy night when she'd knocked on Sorin's door with nothing but a child in desperation. Sorin appeared beside her. Thinking about the rain? Always, waiting for it to feel real. It is real. You made it real. We made it real. They watched their kingdom function, this thing they'd built from mutual need and careful promises. Do you regret it, Sorin asked, accepting my offer, giving up a normal life? Aneira laughed. Normal? My life was never going to be normal, but this? She gestured at the hall. This is better than survival. This is living.
So that's Aneira's story. The woman who was running through rain with a 5-year-old and a head full of secrets, who became co-regent of a vampire kingdom and built a peace that lasted generations. They say the council still exists, that Lyrian's maps are locked in vaults under Cluj, used only for protection, never profit. That Aneira ruled for 40 years before age caught up with her, and Sorin kept every single promise even after she died. But here's what gets me about this story. It's not about love. It's not about rescue. It's about two people who needed each other making a fair trade and then actually honoring it. That's rare, in any world. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Tell me, would you trade your child's gift for protection? Would you take a throne from a vampire if it meant safety? And hey, if you're new here, subscribe. I've got 3 more vampire stories dropping this week, and they're all different. Different cities, different deals, different kinds of power. I'm Aurora. Thanks for listening. Stay safe out there, or don't. Your choice.